I'm introducing us again or no?
Yeah, it's not from
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Micah Norris.
My name is Ross Zabo, a.k.a. Mr. Zabo.
And welcome back to the All Feelings Considered podcast, episode 8.
Episode 8. We have a guest today.
Hi everyone. My name is Milan Valenzuela. Those who you go to Geffen probably know me.
Yeah. So, Milan, why are you here today? What did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I saw you guys were doing a podcast on mental health and had various students on. I saw you guys did mental health and music with Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty interesting. And so, yeah, I reached out and thought we could talk some sports mental health.
Great. Okay, wait. Let's switch mics because I don't know. I'm nervous about it. I can't hear myself through this mic.
There's a lot happening today.
Yeah.
A lot of mic switches.
With the tech.
Yeah.
A lot happening with the tech.
So, Milan, can you, go into, how you got into soccer and why you've stuck with it since then?
Yeah. I started about 10, almost 11 years ago now, when I was 10 years old. And I wasn't playing at a super high level early on. I wasn't the best player early on. In fact, I was probably on the bottom half of the team in terms of development, just raw talent when you're little, you know. I was just kind of playing because my parents signed me up. And then as the years went on, 12, 13, I formed really good relationships and friends with some of the players, some of which I still am friends with and are in college now. But yeah, so they encouraged me to keep playing, and they developed and went to a higher level, and so it forced me to in order to maintain friendships, also train harder and follow them to teams where you have to try out, and it's not just AYSO, right, and everybody plays. And so I almost got cut for the first team. I tried out amongst all my friends. They all made it right away. But as I played, about when I was 14, I started to fall in love with the game, and then from then on is just history. I haven't really turned back. So it's been great. Really kind of a roller coaster at times, but I'm still playing now, and I hope to play in college soon. We'll see a post on the Instagram soon about the next 4 years, but yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah. It's in the works still, but yeah, just waiting on some decisions.
Okay, so question. You said something about how you initially started because you wanted to maintain friendships.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I just wanted to say how you didn't really have to say that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you did,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how some things start. We were talking about in one of the episodes, I think it was with the 745 podcast, about how we tend to go into things because people that we know go into certain things, how our environment affects us.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in this case it really worked perfectly, because now you're into soccer and are you captain of the team?
I'm not captain, actually. My captaincy from Geffen Academy was revoked early on in middle school, permanently, pretty much.
Permanently?
Well, I mean, not permanently,
I didn't
but
know it was permanent.
It's kind of
I didn't do it, by the way.
It's kind
Wasn't
of it's kind of public that
I don't have that kind of power.
Gabe and I haven't been captain. Gabe most recently is captain this year, but yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing in middle school.
We don't have to talk about it.
We can if we want. I don't mind.
If you want to.
I mean, it's a good conversation about sports mental health and keeping your composure and whatnot. I mean, even Zabo can touch on the story too, because he was really involved with the aftermath of it. But
I
didn't. I wasn't there, and I didn't make the decision.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? Because I wasn't here.
Okay, so we were playing, I think it was Willows, in one of our last league games, and we were
sixth grade.
Yeah, sixth grade. Yeah.
Grade.
So everybody was on the team. Everyone.
Right. Yeah. Hugo was on the team. Issa was on the team. This was when Simon wasn't in academy, so he was a goalie. Yeah, it was a tight-knit group of guys. And so, I think we were up 7-0 or something away at Willows. And, we were, Gabe and I, mostly me in the beginning, we were kind of messing with some players as, on the opposing team, already 6-0, 7-0 up. probably not the most sportsmanship like thing to do, especially given the scoreline at the time. But yeah, and one of their players wasn't having it, and I took the ball from one of their players, and as I turned my back, I guess it frustrated him, and he he threw a punch and hit me on the side of my head. I kind of did the soccer roll thing, and then Gabe swarmed him, Dashel swarmed him, was on the team, Silverton. That might have been before you came to Geffen, that student. Zach Ferner swarmed him. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else got a red card. But yeah, Gabe swarmed him, and so a bunch of players swarmed him. A couple guys came off the bench, and it was just ridiculous over one player too. It was just one of their guys, and maybe 10 of us.
So y'all basically jumped up.
Yeah, but nobody none of us threw punches back. Everybody just kind of pushed him and got in his face and got all mad. But I mean, I got a red card. Gabe got a red card. Zach got a red card. Dashel got a red card. I think that was it. We got 4 or 5 red cards. And we had playoffs the next game or the next games, so it was a pretty big time to get a 3-4 game suspension because it was for violent conduct. And so yeah, I mean, Gabe and I were captains at the time, and we were the main instigators, I guess, of the situation. And so the initial fault, I think, was on us for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, they revoked our captaincy for the rest of the season and for the rest of middle school. And then I haven't been captain since in high school. Neither has Gabe until his junior year to be a captain alongside Zach Ferner last year. And now he's a senior captain. The junior captain always becomes a senior captain in high school. So, yeah, that's a little bit of my kind of backstory with Geffen Academy soccer.
And then, from a school perspective, it was our first year as a school. And so I think it was month 2 of the school.
Yeah.
And so it was just a lot to handle from an administration perspective because, the school's just brand new. So we're out there playing sports, being in the community, trying to be hey, we're just a new school.
Right.
And then this happened. So I think that's part of what played a role in it, was trying to handle it. And then obviously they're just middle school kids, so even in the meetings where we'd be do you understand that what you did was wrong, 100% of the boys were no it was just a game, I was defending my friend, that's it. And so it was a growing moment, I think, for the school and for the players. But it does bring up a lot of interesting storyline to the start of your career. You wanted to come on here to talk about kind of the mental health challenges that student athletes face, especially in high school.
100%.
And so what are some of those biggest challenges? Yeah,
for a competitive athlete that looks to play in college, there's the recruitment side of that. As soccer, I'm not sure how other sports do it, but a lot of it's on you to recruit yourself, unless you're one of those players that has the options to either go pro or go to college. The majority of us aren't. And so, if you're playing at a high level and you're not one of those guys that's about to go pro, you have to do a lot of the emailing on your own, communication with the coaches on your own. And that kind of takes a toll on you, whether you get a response, whether you don't. When you get a response, you have a conversation, and then you get ghosted. It's really it's a roller coaster, if you will, and it messes with you a little bit. You have to maintain a level of performance during that recruitment process. What games matter. A coach says, hey, can you send me next weekend's game? Now you know that you have to play well next weekend. And so if you don't play well, you don't even want to email them back. You don't even know what to email them back. They want to see the online film, even if you play bad in front of them or play good in front of them. It's just a variety of factors that come into play with the recruitment process. And then on the more, if you don't plan to play in college, just day in, day out practice, training, bad performance, good performance, and what that does to you. A lot of times athletes, their sport and their activity is their world because they've been doing it for so long. Sometimes it's all they know. And so when you don't play your best, or you felt like you don't play your best, it feels like your world's falling apart. and it can really spiral. So yeah, that's probably the high school side of things for sure.
Okay, and so it sounds like there's a lot of soccer players that deal with rejection.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you go about dealing with rejection? Like you said that there's moments where you play bad in a game or you get ghosted by a coach. Like how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of like self-reassurance and just telling yourself that like, you know, there's another game that, you know, chance to redeem yourself, I guess, chance to bounce back. There's always a practice. As much as as easy it is to get like rejected, it's, you know, just as easy to get a positive result back and like a positive, you know, get your mojo back. You know, with one good practice will change everything. So I just taking baby steps, you know, for sure, definitely would help. And I think helped me while I was practicing.
But then in terms of actual mental health, so like, you know, let's say somebody is experiencing depression or anxiety or something, how likely would a high school athlete be in sharing that? Or would they be worried that if they share it, they're going to lose their starting position or they're going to lose everything they worked for because someone's going to be like, all right, well, you can't play, so it's next person's up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's very cutthroat and ruthless. Cuts happen all the time. I was cut after my sophomore year in high school from the team I was on for about like 3 years since COVID. And so, yeah, I mean, things like that happen and you get replaced, and coaches are pretty ruthless in that sense. Especially like coaches are much different than like educators in terms of like you can come to them, you know, ask for help, especially within those like mental health side topics. It's not very nuanced and open in terms of, you know, hey coach, I'm dealing with a lot right now. Like I know I'm not playing well, but like I was wondering like if you just understand, right? Like it's not like it's almost like there's no excuses, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I hope it gets like, you know, we take steps as a community within like, you know, the athletic world to like address that as we do in school, right? With coping mechanisms and, you know, stress and sleep and all that. It's all the same, just, you know, athletically speaking. Yeah.
I think what's tough, at least from like, maybe not, I mean, high school too, probably, especially club, is, you know, coaches have to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
And so a coach looks at mental health sometimes as like, we can do the preventative, proactive stuff, but if I create this culture where like, okay, you have a mental health issue, you don't play, then if I start losing, I'm going to lose my job. So like on the college level, what you see a lot of times is like, University of Michigan's football team is a really good example of this. They started doing proactive mental health and creating a culture of like, hey, let's just take care of all this stuff. So hopefully it doesn't get to the point where like your best player can't play because of their mental health. But I do think, to your point, when it's reactive, when somebody hasn't shared, hasn't done anything, is going through it, and now they can't play, the coach is also worried like, well, if I lose, I'm not going to have my job either. So it's not an easy fix.
No, it's not,
And it's definitely interesting how, like, you said that coaches don't really, well, some coaches don't really, like, talk about it. Like, it seems like it's such a taboo subject or topic, but I feel like mental health is, like, really the root of everything. Like, if your mental health isn't doing well, then how are you going to perform in school? How are you going to perform at your job? How are you going to perform in soccer? Like, yeah, I don't know why it's such a taboo thing, but I guess like you said, like coaches have to keep their jobs. But so it seems like you take care of your mental health since, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to like be enrolled in wellness and have a relationship with Mr. Szabo since 6th grade, and so as an athlete, I've learned lessons along the way. And I've been able to figure out that I can implement what Szabo teaches about the classroom, and you know, and generally speaking, mental health and you know, young adult mental health, right? I've been able to implement that athletically into my life, and so I mean, I've had a conversation with them privately. I've made assignments about, you know, soccer and myself, and so I've created a toolbox, if you will, to help me. So, I mean, I would say now I'm in a pretty strong position where, you know, if a setback happens, I think I can deal with it. For sure, yeah.
Is there a lot of support for student athletes out there in high school, though? Like, let's say, like, other guys you play with on the club team.
No.
Do they have an understanding of mental health? Do they have, like, people they can talk to? Or is it, you know, because, like, statistically, around 50% of people seek help for their mental health on the college level. And then when it comes to college student athletes, it's around 10 to 20% of college student athletes seek help. So the percentage of people seeking help for student athletes is much lower.
Right.
And so, like, when you were talking about your club team or other things like that, do you see the same options for them? Or
I mean, unless you go to Geffen Academy, I don't think so. I mean, like, Gabe and I have received it, but, like, I couldn't. I would say no. I mean, I would say, like, a lot of my teammates growing up and just watching, like, you know, some of the guys I played when I was super young and the guys I play now, a common thing is drop off, and you can see it. They stop playing after a year. It gets too difficult. They can't handle it, and so they'll just stop playing. And so there's, like, drop off every year. And so, I mean, even, like, Gabe and I play at the second highest, you know, youth level, and so the drop off to, you know, either play in college or not play and just go to college is pretty significant. I mean, on my team right now, we only have 2 commits, and only 3 people are still doing the recruitment process, including myself, out of a roster of 22 players. So that just shows to you, like, the drop off of, like, difficulty. Any one of my teammates could play at the next level. It's just that, like, if they want to, if they're ready to handle that lifestyle, and I think they know that because they played soccer for so long that it's gonna be a battle for another 4 years. And so no, I don't think that my teammates have the resources to seek help or seek help if they need it. And so, yeah.
Wow. And you think the drop off is mental health related? Is it pressure related? Is it
I think
time related?
I think it's time, pressure. I think it's all of those factors working together. You know, one thing my dad and I have noticed when I went from AYSO to club and from club to club is that, you know, forming those relationships at a young age, sometimes players just stop playing. And you don't know why. They just kind of shrug their shoulders. But my hypothesis is that it becomes too difficult, both, like, physically and then mentally. I think first comes the physical part. They stop performing well. They can't keep up with the level, and then it takes a toll on their head. They you know, start to spiral, get discouraged, right? And, you know, they don't know how to bring it out of themselves that it's okay, that, you know, bad games happen, people get better, and that, you know, you have the same opportunity to get better as anybody else, right? And so it's a lot of a spiral, like, relationship with players and themselves and their own ability. And so, yeah, I think that's why a lot of players stop playing from 12 to 18. Every year, guaranteed one player will stop playing for the rest of their lives.
So what do you do to maintain your mental health? Because I know there's a lot of working out. Maybe you pay more attention to what you eat, because that also affects your psyche and stuff. So what do you do?
I like to use, like, words of, like, affirmation with myself. I also like to set goals before games, really tangible goals to build up momentum. As I was getting cut from that team my sophomore year, that's something I did during the tryout phase, and I thought it helped me. Although I was cut, I felt much more confident in my ability when I was playing, setting, like, 3 goals, like complete 10 passes, you know, get at least, like, 2 shots. Doesn't have to be on goal, just, like, you know, try to be attacking minded. And, you know, just a variation of, like, 3 goals, very, very tangible goals. And then you'll forget about the goals, but then you'll notice, you'll subconsciously just start playing well, because, you know, it just comes. And so for me, that's what has, like, helped me tremendously in games. And then, yeah, in terms of, like, diet and whatnot, I try to eat healthy. Although my metabolism is super high, so I just have to, like, dirty bulk right now for college. But, like, yeah, I mean, for me, I would just say 3 goals, and then just reassure yourself when you make a mistake that you're gonna get the ball, like, in the next, like, 30 seconds to a minute. So just make that one like, you know, count, I guess. Yeah, you can't affect, like, you know, I like to try to tell myself whenever I make a mistake, just like, you can't like do anything about it. You already made the mistake, already happened. Either like the reaction to win the ball back or to make the next pass positive and connect it. And so, yeah.
And what about the identity piece of it?
Right.
Like, I think you started playing a sport at a really young age. Mm-hmm. You know, we always hear about like student athletes. We make jokes about athlete students.
Yeah.
But it is your identity. Well, the team does. Then there's like the whole transition to college. So you're hoping, it sounds like you're close to being able to play college soccer for 4 years. Yeah. But, you know, the next level, the USMNT or the Olympics, that's not a, like, people would know that by now. Like, that's not a thing that you do after college, right? Yeah. So do you ever think about making that transition to when you can't play? Like, how's that going to be for you? Like,
yeah, I mean, I've thought about that like right now. If I even like am ready to play at the next level for the next 4 years. I've had that conversation with my parents. I've had that conversation with coaches. I've had that conversation with myself during the recruitment process. This year, the past couple of months. I had it this yesterday morning actually. One of the coaches that I train with in the morning. A school I got offered from took in 9 players, and 6 of which are D1 transfers, and I'm coming in as a freshman, right? And they're all in the same position. 6 players in the same position, 3 defensive players, 9 attacking players, and so if I go in right now,
you gotta go in ready.
I'm going in as a 3rd string player, and so that's one of the schools that is an option, and so like that in itself, I had that conversation about, do I want to be an athlete for the next 4 years, or do I want to be a student? Or do I want to be a student athlete, or just study and hang up the boots, right? And so, yeah, I don't know. I really, like, right now I don't even know. I hope to play at the next level. I was with my mom in Vegas, and she was like, I can't see you not playing soccer for the next 4 years. She was like, I don't think you'd be yourself. I think the transition would be hard. And I kind of agree with her. It's scary because I don't know how I'd react to just being a student, for sure. I definitely know I don't want to play like intramural sports, because then I think I'd just be a little sad and melancholy at like I'm doing it kind of half baked, like it just wouldn't be the same. So I think I'm, if I get into a top school, I think I'm prepared to make the sacrifice, and I'm not change my identity, but grow into a new one, new chapter in my life. That's kind of the thing about college, across the board. So I've definitely had that conversation and thought about that. It's funny that you mentioned that.
You should keep going, Milan. I have a feeling that you will be doing great. I think with sports and just anything, I feel like I talk about this all the time in the podcast, but I just think that the whole progress thing is not linear. It's like sort of like the stairs, like you go up and then you're stagnant, you go up and then you're stagnant, but from each like stagnant era you learn something from that. So I think if you keep going, you find out your good and bad days, or figure out like you see I guess the good and bad, and just learn from your mistakes, then you should go far. I have no doubt in mind that you'll be doing great. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think to close this off, I have one more question for you. And you came on here, talked about sports and mental health, and I just wonder, like, what advice would you give to other soccer players or athletes?
Well, a piece of advice I would give like my younger self as an athlete, I would say play more, and don't take time for granted, right? I would say, like, if you're really obsessed and you love the game, like, don't like take that for granted. Like, use that obsession to like really become obsessed. And just like, I felt like what a better player I could have been if I like really had like locked in and like made the sacrifice at a young age. I did to an extent. I missed out on a lot of things for practice and games on the weekends, but if I really did it to the fullest, I think I could be in a much more comfortable position now, to a top D1 program, on an academy maybe even, right? So it could have been different. I would also say that, it's okay to play bad. It's okay to have bad games, and that's how you have better games. Learning from your mistake is probably the biggest thing. But yeah, one thing that I wish I did differently was definitely, like, I guess my discipline at times wasn't the best. And so, yeah, I would definitely give that to athletes, that if you're going to sacrifice, stick it through until you're in a position where you can relax, right? And that, it's hard. It's going to be super hard, but, that's discipline. You'll feel better later,
yeah,
and you'll appreciate yourself way more later. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I just think it's really great that you were able to come on and be so vulnerable and share with us. Thank you so much for that. This is an issue that affects a lot of people, and when you're going through all these different moments in high school and you're trying to figure out who you are and what's important to you and what matters, for a lot of people, sports is that outlet.
Right.
And it's the outlet that teaches you about yourself. It teaches you about community. It teaches you about loss. It teaches you about resiliency. Yep. It teaches you about winning. And it's often overlooked, and sports has only gotten harder. Back in the day, you could play multiple sports.
Yeah.
And there was no specialization. And even now, if you don't make a team when you're 7 or 8, you might not make that high-level team the rest of your life.
Yeah.
100%.
Your generation is in a much more pressurized environment than generations have been in the past. And there's so much time and money and effort and focus, and think about how many parents are driving their kids everywhere, every night or every weekend, or going all over the place in the hopes of just getting them to play the sport and have a chance. Yeah. So it's an issue that affects a lot of people, and hopefully the words and the advice you provided today can help help a lot of people as they navigate that process.
100%.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to say something, because, sorry, I said we were going to close it off, but anyways, oh my God, I don't want to bring myself up, but I played soccer for...
I don't know why the room's laughing.
I played soccer in 10th grade, and I thought that was really fun. I'm not saying that I was good, but it was sort of an outlet for me, because we were coming back from COVID, and I didn't make any friends. So I'm just I'm just going to join the team. And I honestly never felt so good playing a sport that I didn't know how to play. It brings in community. It brings 100%. In stability in a way. I was also the healthiest I've ever been. Probably not, actually, I'm lying, because I went to In-N-Out every week, but I was still able to maintain everything because I always was working that off. But I just want to say that, you can, if you don't know how to play a sport and you want to play a sport, do it. Just have fun in it. And it doesn't always have to be serious, especially if you're not wanting to do that in the upcoming years as you go to college or as an adult. So see the fun in that, and that's 100%. All I have to say.
All right, episode 8.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks.